Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our Lunch and Learn this afternoon on January 12th. I'm very excited to be with you all today to share some amazing news, amazing information on our work here at LifeWay Network and provide you some context. And we'll also go through a video that has some of our amazing leaders, amazing directors that speak a little bit more about our work here at LifeWay Network. So thank you all for being in the room. Just some housekeeping rules for the hour that we will be together today. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or just chime in when there's time for any questions. If you'd like to chime in with your own personal comments or stories, that is more than allowed, and we welcome that. So please feel free to just speak up, chime in whenever you feel due, and let's have a conversation. It's an intimate group today, so let's try to be have more of a conversational presentation for you today, and kind of understanding of what is LifeWay, what we do, and how we serve our survivors. So welcome to Where Everybody Needs a Sense of Home. Here at LifeWay Network, LifeWay envisions a society free of human trafficking, where every survivor is strong, connected, and free. LifeWay serves both domestic and foreign-born women from the ages of 18 all the way through the end of their lifetime, of all forms of human trafficking. So this includes, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and also familial trafficking. LifeWay is one of the only organizations in the Metro New York City area that offers long-term safe housing for women survivors of human trafficking of all forms. As I mentioned, sex, labor, organ, and familial, and many other forms of trafficking. Here in New York City, we have one of the highest rates of human trafficking going on within the United States. And it's very common for folks to not think about the prevalence of human trafficking and where does it happen and how close it can be to home. So it's really important to be aware, to be informed about human trafficking and where it happens, what are the signs to watch out for. And we'll discuss a little bit about that today. At LifeWay, we understand that after a compelling trafficking situation, the work has just started for women. Whether the situation of trafficking was a few years back or even more recent, life does not become better automatically. Here at LifeWay, we understand that it takes a community support in order for women survivors to live fruitful lives. Our hopes is not return to the trafficking situation, but they need support. They need folks that are there to be able to guide them and help them lead the way to an end to their trafficking situation and live fruitful lives. And that's what we do here at LifeWay. Now, what are some concerns? After a woman leaves her trafficking situation, a lot of times, that is, of course, success. But there are other factors in life that they need additional support in, that they need now to reintroduce themselves into the community. And what are those concerns? Basic needs. How are they going to feed themselves and their families? How are they going to find employment? How will they apply to these jobs? Do they know how to apply? Where to go? How to seek clothing? What is appropriate clothing for their employment or their schooling if they would like to return back to school? Things like this are things that I think for anyone in the community are very basic needs that we just kind of like go through life and don't even think about the ways that we may get these things on the table. But for someone that doesn't have the needs or doesn't know where to seek the needs and the support, it may be very difficult. There may be a lack of community. I mean, a lot of these women, or most of these women, come from situations where their only networks and their only circles were the other victims and the traffickers in their situation. So understanding that they may come into now a LifeWay community or community elsewhere after they have ended their sex trafficking story and not know where to seek that community, not know where to go, not know who to talk to, and not know how to get that support. So it's really important to provide that community sense to them, and we do that here. We'll speak about that in a little bit. Immigration status and language barriers can be a very, very big barrier to them seeking the support that they need. There are a lot of foreign women survivors, but human trafficking can happen right here in our homes. There's many, many more domestic cases that are popping up and that are coming to the light. So understanding that language barriers across the board, immigration status across the board may be something of concern for these women, maybe something that they may cause fear within them to seek out the support that they need. Fear of law enforcement coming to their homes, ICE coming to their homes and returning them back to a situation or community that they don't feel safe in. So always keeping in mind, how can we establish these barriers? How can we break these barriers so that these women can get the support that they need? And navigating the bureaucratic system can just be confusing. This includes for survivors that are born here in America, but also for those that are foreign, especially if they're coming with a language barriers. I come from a background in mental health, and applying for Medicaid and applying for health insurance is the biggest headache of all. So if you don't understand the system and also don't understand the language, don't know how to express the needs that you need in order to live a fruitful life, how can you get that across the board? How can you find the support that you need? On top of the sense, we all have, or hopefully a lot of us on the call have driver's license, our social security cards, and we can know the nuisance that it is to go into these offices and go into these governmental buildings and try to seek out these identifications and these ways of identifying yourself. On top of the fact, we're talking about women survivors and human trafficking, which have gone through their own trauma. Now we're asking these women in order to go through the system and find the resources that they need to retell their stories, to have to retell this stranger at the SSI office or at the Medicaid office or at the DMV about why they don't have documentation or the lack of documentation or where have they lived and where are they now. So having to retell your stories, having to kind of explain over and over again can be re-traumatizing. And this is something that we must keep in mind in order to serve our survivors better, but in order to keep that lens in mind, that there's many more barriers and many more concerns than what may seem or may come to the light at first. So what are some essential resources, some essential things that are needed in order to live a sustainable and go through a sustainable recovery? Well, housing. One of the main things we need is housing, safe housing, and residential programs for our survivors. As mentioned, our survivors may come with barriers to immigration, may come from different countries, and may not have the identifications or the needs in order to show residency, in order to apply for housing. They may not have the funds either to apply for housing. So this is something that is very essential, something that we need to secure for our survivors in order for them to start in a safe home and then lead to a road of recovery where they're able to live sustainably on their own and independently. As I mentioned a little bit, human trafficking and trafficking situations can be very traumatic for our survivors. These are situations where they have possibly felt a close relation to their traffickers, probably have felt a close relation to the community that have now left them behind, that have now left them alone. So it's not interesting, but it's important for us to keep mental health services in mind, to keep a trauma-informed lens when talking and when working with our survivors, when supporting our survivors. How can we understand that the trauma that they have gone through can impact them in a way where now they may be reacting in a certain way to your questions because it's becoming re-traumatizing and re-triggering. So we need to make sure that we provide the services that are adequate in order for them to live fruitful lives, in order for them to receive the support that they need, receive the counseling, receive the one-on-one or even group counseling, group therapy sessions, speak to someone openly about what they've gone through, and then be able to succeed from there and to live independent lives. Access to education is another one. Many of these women and some of these women come with not much of an education, from a 6th grade to a high school education, not having graduated high school, while others may come with their degrees, but not knowing where to seek employment, not knowing where to go to seek careers, long-term careers in their lives. So that's something that we also provide here, and we also help and support at LifeWay with our survivors. We provide them access to education through our support, but also how to apply and how to get careers for their futures. So things to keep in mind that are really essential when it comes to living a life of recovery. Now here we'll begin with a short clip that explains a little bit about our safe housing program, that we have here at LifeWay. And this you'll hear here from our amazing executive director, Marion Kendall, also from our director of Safe Housing Program, Tawana Warren, who will speak on what we do here at LifeWay, how we provide that sense of community, and how we provide those supports that we spoke about a little bit before.
Human trafficking is the act of compelling people to work or engage in commercial sex through force, fraud, and coercion. It happens to about 40 million people globally in all 50 states. New York usually ranks in the top 5. We're not a shelter. We're a safe housing program. We provide a housing space for women to rebuild their lives, reclaim their lives, and reframe their experience of exploitation by living with people, shared experiences, with an abundance of support and care.
Everybody needs a sense of home, and LifeWay is that for a lot of people. LifeWay is laid out like a safe house, but it also looks like home. When you walk into a safe house, you walk into the living room, you walk into the dining room. If you go into some supportive housing, so you go into some kind of transitional, it looks like a transition. Ours look like a home.
And when a woman enters a safe housing program, it's our responsibility to provide all of her needs. Social support is there, and the emotional support is there for her.
So when I move in this house, I will be different. If you live in this house, definitely you come out from the depression and you feel like you are surviving your regular life. And I hope so is better than your regular life.
We have survivors for 12 months in our safe housing program. And what goes on within that 12 months is an amazing experience for not only the staff, LifeWay, but for the women.
Oh, it's like family. It's like family communicate, a lot of love.
They get to make decisions about how they care for themselves. They get to make decisions on what that 12-month and LifeWay Safe Housing Program will look like for them.
Oh, LifeWay is in fact is what for me, because they changed my life and they give me my new life to me.
One of the most important things about our safe housing program is sitting together and having a meal.
Community dinners gives a sense of family. You talk about how your day went, and you get insight from other people, like other women that work in the house or who's going through similar things. That's the place where you can talk openly. Sometimes we just sit at the table and laugh and joke, and we all need that in our lives.
The different culture, different foods, and this is the special moment. They feel you special. You are the special thing.
There are many different ways where people can support our mission to continue to provide safe housing and preventative education to the general public.
You can do it financially through donations, monthly donations. Again, you can support our events. You can support our campaigns that we have throughout the year. In kind is also a wonderful way to donate. We have an Amazon wish list.
You could bring any types of skills, cooking, cleaning, just someone to have a conversation with them to get a different perspective. And that anybody can do. You don't have to have money to volunteer. You just need to put in a little bit of time to do that.
My hope and my vision is to expand our reach, is to open up more safe housing programs, sustain and maintain credible staff of credible messengers, and to see women complete their education, see women complete all the goals that they set out for themselves. We have graduated survivors from our program who have gone on to open their own nonprofit, who are supporting other survivors in the environment. We have survivors who are in college right now seeking a credible education so that they can become thrivers and leaders in their own lives. So the future is limitless, and my vision is to expand on the ways so that we can provide and support women to get back on their feet.
LifeWay is happy.
LifeWay is freedom.
LifeWay is transformative.
LifeWay is a safe space. You're safe in your feelings, you're safe in your emotions, you're safe with your physical problems, you're safe in your house.
LifeWay is not just organization, it's a beautiful home.
Amazing. Thank you all for taking a part of that and just learning a little bit and hearing a little bit from our leaders and our director and one of the survivors about how their life has changed here through LifeWay, the work that we do here through LifeWay. One thing that resonates with me from that clip is that we just don't provide a home. We provide a safe space. We provide a community, a way to transform the vision of what is a home, what is living in an environment with community and building that community with community dinners, right? So it's beyond the physical bed. Here at LifeWay, we don't just provide a bed, we don't just provide a place to sleep, but it's a community-driven approach where survivors are in need of a wide range of services, and we're here to provide that. We're here to work together to do that. Understandably, survivors of trafficking, as mentioned, often express serious physical and psychological concerns. They are in need of comprehensive, long-term trauma-informed treatment and trauma-informed care, even through the everyday work that we do. According to the US Department of Justice, trafficking victims require specialized recovery programs that offer shelter, nutrition, and appropriate medical treatment, as well as psychological evaluation, counseling, alcohol and drug treatment programs, education programs, and life skills training, which we all do here at LifeWay through our safe housing program and our safe housing curriculum and approach. Can you all hear me? I'm getting some chats that my voice may be low. There's a thumbs up or a yes in the chat would be great. Okay, perfect. So we will continue. So that's what we do here at LifeWay, provide that sense of we said we need to address the basic needs. So upon entering the safe house, you will see that similar to the house in the clip that we just saw, our safe houses look like anyone's home. We don't try to keep it as bland as possible. We try to bring color, we try to bring warmth, we try to bring a family approach to it, where the women can feel as if this is their home, this is somewhere they can kick back, feel safe, feel secure, have open conversations with the staff, but also with other survivors within the home, and learn from one another, grow from one another. So we try to provide this community environment, community setting. So in a safe housing program, survivors, they need more support, more than just support groups to exit their lifestyles when they have become trapped. They need more support than just going to once a week support groups, and they need supportive services. So here at LifeWay, we provide survivors with more than just a physical space, as we said, and also physical safety. Survivors are accompanied through the healing process by a comprehensive team of supports in a holistic environment. And our team of supports includes our safe housing director, Tawana Warren, which you all saw in the clip a little bit earlier. But we also have social workers and house managers that are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the women, there to provide any support that they need at any given time. We also have residential aides and many, many, many volunteers that are doing this great work because they want to, from the goodness of their hearts, and because they want to give back to survivors and to the community. And this is a great way and a great approach, as it brings in so many different folks from so many different avenues and so many different leadership skills and directive skills, and brings them all together to the safe housing to work as a community, work together with the women, and provide them that holistic approach to healing. Survivors are also accompanied every day through their practical life skills, and this may include getting a doctor's appointment. This may include going to the career center and finding out what is it that they need, how to build a resume. It can be how to prepare taxes if they have a job now, a career now, an employment, and now need to find out how to do their taxes, how to prepare their taxes for the next year. We are in January, so it's about that time, guys. So accompanying them through these everyday tasks that we may take for granted, but for someone that hasn't experienced this in the past, we can walk them through the process and not provide them that jarring experience, but providing them that holistic, that community approach to it. Survivors are also accompanied by being a part of restorative community, as we mentioned, with community dinners and community workshops, which we'll explain in a little bit. Now, one of survivors quoted, "For the first time, I felt safe and I could sleep deeply." And this is huge. This is a huge quote to take in mind, because many of us just, know we have a home, know we have a bed, somewhere to go to sleep at night. And for many folks outside in different organizations, that's also what they know. I have a bed for tonight. I may not know tomorrow. Here at LifeWay, we don't just provide that bed, we provide that form of safety. And as I continue to inform, that form of community. You're not here alone. We are all here together in order to help you become independent and live a free and fruitful life after your time at LifeWay. So as we mentioned, we made sure to also take in their mental health care and provide supports for their mental health care. As we mentioned, we have our director of safe housing, Tawana Warren, is a licensed social worker, but we also have social workers within LifeWay that sit one-on-one with the women survivors, that sit down and explain to them or have a conversation with them in regards to what are your concerns, what are your needs, how can we here assist you at LifeWay. LifeWay provides supportive counseling and collaborations with traditional mental health care. We always support our women to seek additional resources. Here at LifeWay, we do not provide direct therapeutic services, but we connect them to the organizations that we have a whole network of organizations that provide mental health care, mental health services. So we make sure to provide that connection and make that connection with our women survivors. We also make sure that when we are approaching an organization that is providing care and supports to our women, that they understand and they take a trauma-informed approach, especially understanding that this can be re-traumatizing and this can be re-triggering. As I mentioned, sometimes going through the bureaucratic system and try to understand just how to apply for medical care or mental health care, you have to retell your story over and over and over again, which can be re-traumatizing. So understanding that lens, taking in that lens and taking that approach, and understanding the organizations that we partner with also take that approach. We recognize that the survivors with trauma we recognize that survivor trauma is very complex, and we resist re-traumatization, as I stated earlier. We do so by providing our service providers with comprehensive training on human trafficking 101. What is human trafficking? What are the signs? How should I speak to a survivor or someone who's in a human trafficking situation? What's my approach? How should I use a trauma-informed lens to try to provide them the support that they need? We provide them continuous education, not only to understand how to relate to the survivors, but to understand the medical and the psychological processes that may be involved, which is key in this healing process. So we take, as we mentioned, a holistic approach. We try to also involve our partners to understand that survivors of human trafficking have gone through so much trauma in their past, and we need to understand what that trauma is in order to know how to support them better. Now, our LifeWay managers and our LifeWay directors and our house managers and our safe housing directors, each survivor has a different need to their healing journey, which is what makes this position so rewarding and unique. The social worker and the house managers work very closely together, always keeping in mind the survivors where they're at in their lives, creating and keeping a very client-centered model and approach. We understand that when it comes to trauma, when it comes to survivors, while they may have ended or have exited the trafficking situation, they can be at so many different stages in their lives. There can be just brand new out of their trafficking situation, or there can be many, many years after the trafficking situation and now needing our support. So we understand that we need to meet our clients where they're at, reach them where they're at, and provide the supports that is adequate to where they're at. We provide weekly holistic trauma-informed supportive counseling and supportive group sessions. So the social worker, as we mentioned, and the house manager sit down with the survivors and sit down with them to understand their recovery, understand how to support them better. We also have community dinners and weekly community dinners where we always provide that community approach, right? We always have that community lens of doing this work, but where we sit down all together, make it a point to take out time to sit down all together, cook a meal, enjoy each other's culture, or learn about each other's cultures, practice their English if they're foreign born, if their English is not their first language. Learn some computer skills if they're looking to apply to school, or even how to use computers in general in order to just be fruitful independently. Another daily activities and life skills. This is where house managers and the residents and the staff all come together to sit down and kind of discuss what are their needs, what can we continue to learn, what skills do you want to learn from, do you want to grow from, and how can we provide that support. Again, very client-centered, very individualized to what each individual survivor needs. As we stated, each resident's goals vary very, very widely. So there's service plans. We have service plans for each survivor, which is tailored towards their specific goals, what they want to reach in their lives, what their end game and their end goal would be. And how can they reach that goal? For the 1 year here at LifeWay, we provide 1 year for women survivors to stay within our program, but we always provide them supports before and even after and during that, right? So how can we sit down and talk about these goals? What do you want to reach? What goals do you want to reach by the end of your time here at LifeWay after that 1 year approach, after that 1 year mark? But what else do you want to learn after that 1 year mark? How else can we continue to support you even after you have found stable and independent housing on your own? How can we continue to support you? The social worker provides a multidisciplinary team approach, which we stated includes the case manager, the house managers, the social workers, residential aides, our volunteers, all of this in order to provide the best quality of care. And through our weekly workshops, we make sure that we provide life skills needed in order to, or life skills or any type of necessary basic needs that the survivors need in order to live independently. So as we mentioned, we provide life skills. We also provide workshops on economic empowerment, where they learn how to, as mentioned, do taxes, how to apply to jobs, how to save money if they want to save for their own independent housing after their time with us, and how to do, and also how to build community and how to build healing throughout all of that. So it's a whole holistic approach where we take in these 4 categories and try to understand the women, but also try to understand how to support her better. Education, as mentioned before, it is essential that we provide that education to the public. We provide that education to our staff and to the organizations that we partner with in order to view this work with a trauma-informed lens. Many survivors all say, I want a job, but education levels can vary. So also with that, we understand that, as mentioned, survivors can come from all walks of life. Survivors can come that they have reached their 11th grade education, but have not graduated. We've also had survivors that have worked multiple jobs in the past and have had careers in the past, and now are looking to find a way to get back into that cycle and that realm of things. Or they may have never worked at all, don't know how to create a resume and need our support in order to create a resume, bring up all the things they have done in the past, where they have worked in the past, all their education from the past, and put that together. So we're here to provide all that support wherever they're at. We have survivors that are currently going through GED programs and trying to get their degrees, trying to get their education, while we have others that already have their degrees and are now looking for, how can I start actually working with this degree? What can I do with this degree? Where can I go from here? So we provide that partnership with other organizations that provide that education, but we also make those connections directly, make those networking connections that we have in order to ensure that our survivors are then going to their education, are going to graduate into what they would like. At LifeWay, and in collaboration again with our partner agencies, we support the survivors in developing life skills to help them become employable and independent. We also provide computer literacy. We are in 2023 officially. Everything is computerized. Everything runs through computer programming. And it's essential that we also provide that support and those skills to our survivors. Many residents did not have access to technology in their homes or back before, and need a lot of assistance in this area. So we have been providing residents with help to accessing their online English classes if they're virtual, emails, any telehealth or medical appointments that may have. We also assist with using laptops and their iPhones or their phones if they have a smartphone now and never had one before. How to use their smartphone to have telehealth conferences with their providers. How to have Zoom or even FaceTime calls with their case managers so that they have that more connection with their case managers as well. We walk them through what they need until they're at the point where they feel confident to do it all on their own. I will say we have young survivors within our program that are very savvy with their phones, know how to use it, and they're so kind and love to support one another and assist other residents and other survivors that may not know or have that skill. So nice to see. Yes? Oh, I heard somebody come in. Somebody would like to chime in? All right, so I'll continue. So it's nice to see that community building, that the way that we have structured the community workshops, community dinners, actually influences the survivors and influences them to also build that community around one another and with themselves. So it's really nice to see. Now, what is a day in the life here at LifeWay? What is, when a woman comes through our doors, what is the process of them becoming a survivor within our doors, becoming a survivor within our homes, and hopefully having a fruitful time here within LifeWay with us? So as we mentioned, we provide community dinners. This is on a weekly basis where we sit down together and we either encourage all the survivors within the home to come together and cook something together in the kitchen, our homes. The safe houses are structured in a way where it seems like a home. As I mentioned, it has a full kitchen, it has a full living room, a full dining room with dining room set, where we encourage our survivors to cook, come together as a community, and sit down to have a nice meal together. So they may cook that with the assistance of the house managers in community, or the house manager may provide a meal for that day, something that they all selected or decided on together. And they come together, as you see here in the first image, and just have conversations, sit down and talk to one another. How was your day? Where can we support you if there's a need for support? How have you been feeling? Just having those open conversations. We also provide empowerment workshops and workshops, flower arrangement workshops, different workshops. What would you like to work on? And we provide those workshops after our community dinners. So those workshops during the holiday season, we took one of those hours, one of those workshop hours, and we decorated and asked the survivors to come together and decorate the home together. And they had such an amazing time. They were able to relay back how joyful it made them feel to be a part of the process of beautifying their home, of making it for the holiday season, making it beautiful for the holiday season. And you saw that they took a lot of pride in their work and they wanted to showcase it to everyone. So taking pride, showing them those workshops. What is it that you would like to learn to do? What else can we do as a workshop? Maybe we can do like a painting workshop where we all come together and kind of just reflect our minds and think through our minds, but using art as therapy, right? Or even gardening. Both of our houses, our safe housing program, we have gardens and we provide gardening areas where the women can utilize their tools that they have there, can use that as a therapeutic spot as well, and also come in community. So as you see from all the workshops and all that we provide, it's all about a sense of community and coming together. One of our house managers, Lindsay Anderson, has stated, I have had residents express to me how amazing it is to live with people who understand what they're going through because they have been there. Attending workshops, enjoying community dinner, living together day in and day out is a bonding experience for many residents. Some who have moved on are still friends with other former residents. So it's good to hear that. It's so nice to hear that this sense of community building has even expanded after their time here at LifeWay, where they still reach out to their former residents and still keep in communication. So this is not just that 1 year timeline that we have. It goes so many years beyond that. So now understanding a little bit of what we do here at LifeWay, what can you do to support us? What can you do to help us amplify this work? If you would like to become employed through our company or other companies, or you belong to a company or business that understands survivors and that understands that they may not have an employable background, please reach out to us. Please let us know. We like to make those connections. As we mentioned, our women want, after that year mark, they want to be able to live independently. And that comes with finding employment, finding spaces that have that trauma-informed lens and understand that they may not have the background and the needs, the requirements for this job that they need, but how can we work around that? So if you do know of an organization like that, if your organization or company or business provides that, please let us know so that we can make a connection. Also, as Jeannie mentioned in the clip, Jeannie, our Director of Finance and Accounting, considering contributing to LifeWay and our work. Please go to our website, lifewaynetwork.org, and see the many ways that you can donate and give back and support. After this slide, we will also have our Director of Development come online, which will also speak about other ways that you can support us as well. And of course, check out our Human Trafficking Awareness Month campaign, Shedding Light to Human Trafficking. And it's on our page. If you visit lifewaynetwork.org, you can see the many events and things coming up this month, but also the ways that you can donate, show your support. Donate doesn't only have to come, as Tawana mentioned in the clip, is not only monetary. That can be your hours, your volunteering, your spirit volunteering, your intelligence by providing a workshop for us or for the women, better yet, or even volunteering any time that you may have just to provide that support, be in the space and have that other person in the room that can provide a different lens to this work. So we invite you to join us and to find a way that you can give back. Now I'll invite our Director of Development, Marissa Harvey, to join the call and provide some context here on some events and some things that we have coming up for the rest of the month. Trying to get Marissa connected here. Hello, Marissa.
Hi.
Oh, there she is. Marissa, we cut you. I think you cut off once again.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. I am so excited to share what we're all about at LifeWay. And I hope Josephine, I know Josephine did a great job of showing what we're like here. We are like a home and not like a shelter by any stretch of the imagination. But as you might imagine, operating a home is very different than running a shelter in terms of the financial burden that we have to bear to keep our residents with the quality care that they deserve. And one of the things that we do, of course, is do what we can during this month where in general, the general public raising awareness of human trafficking through a luncheon like this, but then also at the end of the month on January 26th, we're having a virtual screening of a very compelling documentary called Surviving Sex Trafficking that actually won several awards at independent film festivals last year. One of the women featured in this documentary is Angela Williams, and she is a LifeWay Network survivor, a resident survivor. She came to LifeWay Network and she tells us how much LifeWay has changed her life and gave her the courage to go back out into the world. And actually now she's an advocate for human trafficking survivors. And she's done a tremendous job in making sure that her abuser paid for what he did to her, which was almost attempted murder, basically, almost left her for dead. But anyway, it's going to be a very, I think, uplifting meeting to have Angela, to see what Angela went through, and then to see her now, what she's like now, this very articulate, compelling woman that is determined to change people's lives. It's a very inspiring story. So I hope you can join us. The ticket sales are on the Human Trafficking Awareness website, where you went to buy tickets or to register for this event. You'll see it. It's a section on that page. I can also put it in the chat, so I will put the link to the page in the chat as well. The second big fundraiser we have for spring is our Event Towards New Life Gala. Our theme this year is Her Hopes Are Ours, and that truly is. I mean, I think you got a very good sense of the community we have here at LifeWay, and we really take on the hopes and dreams of our residents as our own. So this is not just a slogan, it's really how we live here. They always come first in our minds, and we're always working to help their situation in any way we can. We're very excited. This year we have our honorees, the Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz and the Assistant District Attorney Jessica Melton. They are two women who have been instrumental in bringing traffickers to justice, and they are very excited to be a part of the gala this year. If you're interested in buying a table, in volunteering for the night of the event, if helping us get some corporate sponsorship, please contact me. I will also put my name, my email address and phone number in the chat so you can reach out to me directly. We can use all the help we can get. We're very excited and very, very determined to raise a significant amount of money. This is our largest fundraiser for the year, so we really hope you can support us. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Yes, as Marissa mentioned, please watch out for our virtual screening coming out at the end of the month, and of course our gala in May. And we will share in the next slide where you can find all this information. First of all, we want to thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing an interest into understanding our mission, supporting our mission, but also wanting to learn more about what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. So now we'll open up the floor for any questions, but before we do that, just want to let you know here on the screen you have all the forms of contacting us, all the ways that you can get in contact with LifeWay. You can visit our socials on Twitter, on Instagram at LifeWay Network. You can also visit our website, lifewaynetwork.org, where you will find all of the information coming up for the events throughout the month. If you have your phone, a smartphone, you can also place or put on your camera, turn on your camera, and you could take a picture of the QR code here in the corner, and that would direct you directly to our website. And then you'll have it saved on your phone, and now you can go to it at any time. So if you would like to reach out to us, my name is Josephine Chrysostome, as I mentioned at the beginning. I'm the Director of Education, Training, and Advocacy here at LifeWay. Please reach me at my email. And if you would like to support us in any of the ways that Marissa has mentioned, please reach out to Marissa. This is her email here. So thank you all. Now we will open it up to questions.